welcome to another episode of
Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy.
I'm Andy Vargo, and this is my bestie,
Cheri Hardman. We decided to do something.
Yeah?
Andy Vargo and I will do anything for attention.
Yes, we will.
I'll tell you what I did. My nails, my hair, and my nails, my hair.
You gotta give yourself credit for all the things you do.
I'll tell you what I did earlier, later.
Now I don't know when it'll happen.
Earlier, later. And we're here to discuss my nails, my hair, and
Being the best at no matter what it is that you're doing. Now I don't know when it'll happen. We are live. We're out there in the world. We are making it happen. Cheri, how are you today? Hide that junk behind you. Let's not see all your, your unmentionables. Your unmentionables back there.
Yeah. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You look great today.
Thank you.
I mean, not that you don't normally. You just look like fresh and like you didn't just have a nap or something.
It's called putting on lipstick.
Oh, gotcha.
No, I was just sitting out there watching a documentary, and then I was dozing off, and Dave kept exclaiming about it, and then I'm like, ugh. So I didn't really get a nap, but
He's like, I'm not going to let you miss any of this documentary. There are facts coming at us. That's awesome. So, did you see that?
Well, it was like something he wouldn't like anyway. It was like,
oh my God, I just had this thought. So you're watching a documentary. Is he mansplaining what they're telling you in the documentary?
No.
Now, what they're talking about here, Cheri, is
he likes to breathe. He would not do that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen you in so long.
I know. What's going on? Well, I know that where are we on the count? We're on it's like the 3rd today.
November, yes, we're the 3rd of November.
In about I don't know, almost 2 weeks, there's something coming up for you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We might need to do something special with that. I don't know.
I don't know.
I put it on my alarm so that I wouldn't forget.
You did. Oh, nice.
I give myself 2 weeks to prepare. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, some of my friends have been asking what I might want for my birthday, and I was thinking a car might be nice.
Yeah. I'll get right
in case you're wondering.
Get right on that. We'll do a GoFundMe.
No, I don't. I would rather sell so many books that it pays for it,
Yes, everybody buy a book from Andy so that he can buy a car.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And I will have a new book coming out very soon here. So
so cool.
Oh, no, big yawn. It's ironic you were watching a documentary. I was sitting on the couch waiting for it to buzz saying you were sending the thing over to jump into the meeting. And I was just like, oh, I'm not in the mood to do this. Like, I'm always in the mood to see you. But then my head went to this interesting thought, because I know we've run into this with show, you're on your way to a show, and whatever's going on in your life that day, whatever happens 5 minutes before you go out the door, or conversation you have, it doesn't always put you in the mood to get up and be entertaining for people.
Right.
But that's part of life, right? This is a job. This is part of my job. This part of our job is being out in front of people. And that means that sometimes you have to be on, or at least be on in some form, when you might not quite feel like it.
I looked up the other day, why do I yawn all the time when I'm in a conversation? And it said something about it's a way your body has of making you more alert.
Oh, really?
And so that I can be on and be ready to, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I'm gonna remember that, because I find myself yawning a lot, and I feel bad because people are like, did you not have your coffee today? And I'm like, I never drink caffeine, first of all, rarely. So that's not even why. You're just boring. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't say that. It's not usually the case, because even conversations I'm very interested in, and I will yawn, and then I'm like, oh no. So I'm going to use that.
Yeah, well, and I also, I do have sleep disorders, so I can fall asleep at the drop of a hat.
Okay.
Literally.
Yeah.
You don't even have to drop a hat. You just have to let me sit still for a minute, and I can be out. So.
Well, next week, I just want to make sure and let people know, L&M Firehouse on the 10th. in Ording. I'm going to be there. You were going to be there, but you got an even bigger opportunity, which I'm going to let you share.
Well, first of all, I want to say I was excited about that show.
Yeah, it's
I-
gonna.
I
It was
like,
going to be a fun show.
already,
It's still going to be a great show. But you guys are going to have to pick
yeah.
between me and Cheri this week. You're either going to have to go to Tacoma and see her, or you're going to come to Ording and see me.
Yeah, because Richie, FJ and we're gonna do it, and I got the opportunity to do the Kenan Thompson audition show. I don't know what they're calling it, and so I took it. I'm like, I really hate to do that. I've maybe only once or twice canceled a show in all the time I've been doing comedy.
Yeah.
But it's when you have an opportunity for a big TV opportunity, you got to go for it. Brandon was understanding. Hopefully he'll rebook me out in Ording. Maybe,
Yeah, he said that he was gonna like blacklist you for 2 years and then he'd have you back.
That's what I heard. No, because I love Brandon. He's
he's great.
Matt were the two first people that like put me in my first headlining spots, and they had the faith in me that I could do it. And I'll never forget them for that. So
yeah, they're both great. And that's the thing is anybody, in our community knows these kinds of things. I think it's crappy when someone ditch a gig because another local gig comes up that they'd rather do. That's not cool in my book. But when you have an opportunity that can really further your career, that's a completely different situation.
Yeah. So there's that. And then I'm excited about that. I want to talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Before you get into that too much, I want to say one more thing. Next Saturday, if you're in the Gig Harbor area, I'm going to be emceeing and hosting and doing the auction, which I've never hosted an auction for. So this will be fun for me, for the Indulge event, which is a fundraiser for the Gig Harbor Senior Center. So come out. There's a silent auction plus an auction.
This Saturday?
Saturday the 12th. So you got a week. I'll be posting it on my social media later today. Just kind of worked out the details on that yesterday, but it's at the Gig Harbor Yacht Club. There's going to be great bites and bits and food from different chefs and food trucks and caterers in the area, and they're making the things that like they love to make. It's not just like, oh, here's our menu. It's like, what is it that you like about this thing? And so we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. It's gonna be awesome, but it all goes to support the Gig Harbor Senior Center, which really helps lower income seniors. It really helps with a lot of things. So it's a really good cause. So.
Cool. Well, as long as we're doing that on the 12th, I'm doing the disabled list. And the disabled list just typically has a couple venues that they use.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just keep doing it, but just with rotating different comedians in at the same. But this venue, they've only been there one time, and that time I was not available.
Oh, so this will be your first time.
This will be a first timer for me. So that's pretty exciting.
So 2 days next week, you're going to have to pick between Cheri and I. So you can come to one of us one day and the other one the other day. So yes, both. There you go.
Right. But I kind of wanted to talk about this audition thing.
Yeah, I want to hear more about it.
Because first of all, I don't know that much about it. I've been able to piece some stuff together just from what I've seen. But what happened is my alarm is going off. Time for me to get up from my nap.
Wake up from your nap.
So back in August, there was a post in Northwest Comedians for this show.
Okay.
And I think maybe at that point it might have only said Seattle, but I don't know. I could double check it. It doesn't really matter. And I kind of looked at it and I saw where they had the word young was in it.
Okay. And
so that's why I didn't apply for it, because I was like, oh, this is like a young comedian, like young, So I didn't apply for it. And then I got an email a message in Messenger from the producer guy, and asking me to do it. So I decided to do it. And I had been seeing all these people that were on the show in Seattle I
Mm-hmm.
had been seeing, they make you like a custom poster,
Oh,
and I'd been
gotcha.
seeing these, like I saw a bazillion of them, like, geez, everybody's on
Mhm.
that show. And
Okay.
then, but the one that he sent me was for Tacoma, and I'm like, oh, Tacoma's doing one too. And then I started seeing like all the Tacoma ones come out, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but then what I saw, and I know some people are just trying to be funny, but I saw a lot of people making like kind of mocking posts, like, uh,
Like that weren't on it.
people that weren't on it making kind of mocking posts about it. And I know in some cases it's uh, just a way to deal with feeling rejected, maybe, you know, like let's make it
Mhm.
lighthearted and stuff like that. But there
Yeah.
were a lot of them, and it like, to me, not all of them. Some of them were funny. Some of them were funny. Um, but it was just kind of like, I don't know. It just felt like sour grapes, and it's like, why didn't? I guess I know how that feels, because that's how I feel about, you know, not getting chosen for stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I also think we need to take turns being happy for each other too.
Yeah. I've seen some things lately, and I've really I want something I read in this book I was reading. It kind of asked that question, like, how do you feel when you see other people around you being successful? And being honest with yourself, do you feel envious or jealous or angry or hurt? Does it make you want to, like, see the negative things about them or why they don't deserve it, instead of just being like, that's cool, I'm going to have my turn soon, because you want people to be happy for you, even if you're not that close, or even if you have this friendly competition going, like, you would do in the industry and stuff. And then, and so you have to think, okay, well, I need to genuinely feel that way for other people. Like, oh, I'm glad they got their turn, even if I might be like, oh, well, how come not me? But I could take that energy that is mad and angst about that, and I could make the meme, and I could spend all that time, or I could take that same amount of time to email 3 other shows to try and get on something different,
Right.
or take that 15 minutes to write, some new jokes, or to practice them. I mean, there's, like, if I took that time to not focus on the negative and the rejection, and spend it on how I could improve or go after something.
Right. Well, that's also like, I got to admit, like, I didn't feel very good about not getting into Seattle International Comedy Competition this year. I felt really bad about it. And then I
Yeah,
would, sometimes it's like, because you see people that you really feel you're more talented than they are.
right. And it doesn't
And
mean that you're not, just because you
it
didn't.
doesn't make any sense to you. And so
Right.
some of that is just putting that all like trying to figure out. And it's like, well, I'm just not what they're looking for right now, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Um, and there's that phrase that goes around in many different forms, like what's meant for you will come to you,
Right.
and
Yeah.
what's meant for them will come to them. And so if it doesn't come to you, it's not meant for you.
Hmm.
But being in a competitive field, it's really easy to get jealous and jaded. And I'm not going to say act all high and pious here, because that you and I love to get together and snark about stuff like this.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say before you started sharing that too, is that I don't want to sound like, oh my God, I have it all down, because these are things I have to remind myself of sometimes. Is like, Andy, you just spent a half an hour being pissy about the situation. You could have written the next story in your book. You could have gotten 500 words written. You could have emailed 4 people in that time to follow up on, or get the next gig lined up. And that's why those things don't happen, because the time gets spent on the BS. And
Right.
so I'm not saying it like, oh my God, I got it down, but that's what I strive for and what I try to remind myself of. And when I do it well, it's like, feels good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So anyway, it's just unfortunate that a lot of times in this business, it's hard to feel happy that you have something.
after
I,
we are
I never did
offline, we
share
can,
this. I forgot to share this.
and then when we're done, I'll call you back and we can bitch about the people that we want to
Oh, we will for sure. Okay, well, nobody's watched this now
You forgot to
because
share what? Oh, you're saying, oh, you
I
didn't
forgot to
share.
share it on my regular page. And,
No, I thought you were sharing something
not
else.
everybody
I was
follows
actually about to do that, and then
Scrutiny.
got right into our conversation so quick that I totally forgot about it. And so I'm gonna go on right
Yeah, do
now.
that now while I tell everyone that when we're done here,
Yes.
or if you're watching this later on YouTube, we have 33 subscribers on YouTube. That's an embarrassment.
That's so cool. We got 33. We got more to come.
Okay, we do. We have plenty to come because you and I have thousands of Facebook friends. So let's just make a goal. We need 100 subscribers on YouTube because when you have 100, you get certain things, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's up to you guys now.
There
We
you
put
go.
it out there.
On you.
Yeah. Where were we? So anyway, I personally am going to try to be better about feeling hateful thoughts about people when they get stuff that I didn't get.
Mm-hmm.
And instead reframe it into, all right, how can I take this feeling I'm having and turn it into something productive for me?
Right. I like that. That's a nice.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I'm probably going to have to write it down and like remind myself because.
Well, and I think also being able to say, okay, because I decide that right now, it doesn't mean I'm never going to have those instincts or those those ideas. But if I catch myself 15 minutes into the rant next time, or 10 minutes into the rant, or 8 minutes, like each time it gets a little better and you spend less energy in that space. And then it kind of just stops showing up at some point. Or you go, oh, dang. And then, oh, well.
Oops, yeah. Oh, well, we'll figure. It's kind of like meditation.
Yes.
I don't know how much you know about meditation, but one of the first things that people have difficulty with is like, well, I can't just think of nothing. Like thoughts are going to come into my head. Like, I can't meditate, but that's okay because that's what thoughts do. And you just have to learn how to like, just go back to.
I heard one time when I was learning, and I'm still trying to get better about meditating, but one of the things that I've heard them say is you have to, like, if a thought comes into your head, you just tie a string to it like it's a balloon and let it float away. Like you see it and you let it go. You don't see it and then sit on it and try to open it up and unpack it, because they are going to come in and they're going to enter, and you just have to let them kind of move along.
Yeah. And so, there will be those times that those thoughts will come like, okay, well, I'll think about that later if I really need to. But right now, yay for that other person. And
so now when I meditate, I just pretend like I'm listening to Cheri talk.
And then I'm just ignoring you. And then
see, she does the same thing to me.
The other thing that I've done, though, and this has been really helpful for me for having hateful thoughts about people, is that I've started just unfollowing them. Like if somebody kicks off that reaction to me because they've been rude to me or whatever the feeling is that I have a negative feeling about them. And a lot of times you have to kind of be friends with them because you're in the same business, and that's.
Yeah, I'll stay friends, but I will unfollow a lot of people because of that kind of thing. Like if it's generating a negative feeling, and it can be that sometimes they're not even doing anything wrong. They're just, in different places. Or if the stuff that they're posting isn't in line with what I want in front of me all the time, if that's not the feeling or the vibe I want when I open up my feed, I will unfollow, and I'll stay friends, and I'll go back and check out their stuff from time to time. Particularly if it's people who don't engage with my stuff. I don't feel the need to have their stuff thrown in front of me all the time, outside of like close friends, family kind of thing. But because some people don't engage, and that's fine, but I also don't need to engage all my energy into their stuff either then.
Right. Yeah, I have felt a lot better since I started unfollowing just a couple people in particular, and one recently that's made me really feel good.
Yeah.
because that person generates a lot of negativity in me. And so, poof, it's gone. Just
Right.
like that.
It's that simple. And it's also
So,
funny how they typically don't even notice, because a lot of times they're just dumping the negativity and not even aware. And so,
yeah. But I'm sure this person, when they're around me, is aware that they're poking at me, I think.
yeah, that's not cool.
Not at all.
Person not to be disclosed in this conversation. Yeah.
We also have, I'm also gonna just say that I'm doing the disabled list on the 12th, but I'm doing a lady bits at Tacoma Comedy Club on the 19th. Those are always fun.
Oh, that's fun.
So
Yeah.
those afternoon shows on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as always, the end of the month, we have Odd Otter. We have Nara and Van this month, and that's going to be fun.
That will be fun. Yeah. It's gonna be a fun show.
That's going to be the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So
28th or 29th, whatever that is.
28th, yep.
Cyber Monday.
Is that what? Oh, it is. Yeah, so
And
get all your cyber shopping done before you come to our show.
don't let me forget to talk to you about an idea I have for a show after this.
Okay. I'm going to write it down. You know, I realized that Andrew got his hours increased, and I think that I cheated myself out of some hours like the last
no.
weeks, but
And
I'm on it.
congratulations to Andrew for bowling this Saturday.
Yeah, Sunday he got a
Okay,
gold
sorry.
medal. Got a gold medal. That was cool. We've been doing that. We didn't do it during the pandemic, but other than that, he started bowling when he was 7.
Wow.
He is 38 now.
Dang.
So
yeah, he's had
been to a lot of those over the years.
Yes, I see that.
But it's nice to go because I don't go as often. You know, I used to coach. Dave and I were the coaches.
Oh yeah.
And so now Dave or I will go. But it was just nice seeing a bunch of people and a bunch of moms that hadn't seen me since Noah died. So I got some extra hugs and, it's nice to connect with people like that. I know sometimes people are afraid to say something, but no, I would be more bothered if someone didn't say something than bothered by them saying something.
And I think it's interesting too. I mean, I think everybody has this in our lives, but we forget that we are part of several different communities. You have your school community, your regular family community, your comedy community, community from all these different things and from different jobs you've had over the years, whatever it is. And so those are all separate entities, and it is just nice sometimes to reconnect with different communities that we might not see as often.
Right. And Allison Fine was there with her daughter, and my God, my child loves her. I think because she gets real excited when she sees him and talks to him, like she's happy to see him like you do, and he can tell when somebody likes him and he likes them back. And so he can't remember her name for the life of him.
Oh,
but he
it's
calls
so fun though to see
her that one lady.
Oh yeah. That's funny.
I love that one lady, Mom. He talks about her when she's not around. Well, she played skee ball with him one night at a show that we were at in
cool.
At Stars, and so that made him feel pretty special. So
yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, Andrew's a good dude.
Yes, he is. He's awesome.
I was thinking about talking about therapy. And I'll tell you what made me think about this, about going to therapy.
Okay.
Because sometimes I think like, oh, I've got a therapy appointment Saturday. What am I going to talk about? Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't want to keep talking about the same thing, or I'm worried that I'm going to bore him. Like, I don't know sometimes how to navigate that whole thing,
Sure.
I don't want him to do that the whole time.
I know what you mean, because sometimes I show up to therapy and like I feel like I start out talking about whatever thing I tripped on the way into the office. It's just like there was, whatever, a brick on the ground, and sometimes it's like, oh my God, this thing happened and I've been waiting for 4 days to talk to you about it, or something happens and I'm like, I can't wait to have therapy to talk about that. And then therapy gets there and I forgot to talk about the thing.
I know. So that's what I'm trying to think like, well, and then I also think like sometimes we kind of come to like a little solution on how we're going to handle something.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, well, I can't talk about that now because now I feel like I should have it handled. Or sometimes I can't even remember, like, well, what did we talk about? Like, was I
Yeah.
supposed to be I don't know. I'm nervous about it now because I don't know what I want to talk about.
Mm. I have found I look at my therapist like you might look at like having a lawyer on retainer. Like there are days where I feel like, okay, I'm functioning enough, but I need to keep that conversation open so that it's easy to say, God, yesterday really sucked, or this happened and it threw me off guard and I didn't know. Like the thing I have ended up talking a lot lately about dreams, where it's like, I don't, this is clearly bugging me or it's in my head because there are certain dreams that I would have sometimes that are recurring like nightmares. And I haven't had them for a little bit now, but when I'm getting close to certain events, they come up. And so then I'm just like, oh, and my therapist has been really good about noticing patterns or trends. And every once in a while, he'll ask a question in a way that's like, oh, discovery moment. So, what do you, I don't want to like make you like say it out there, but is there like, you have a list for this week or what are you thinking? Or like, how do you
No,
want
I
to
just
approach
like
that?
I right around Thursday I start thinking, what am I going to talk about? And it's not like, well, yeah, well, I cried all week again. Okay, well, duh, we all know that I do that now.
Yeah.
Um, and I just let myself cry. I don't really feel the need to talk about it. Today was like the first time I really just burst out in the middle of a classroom where it was noticeable.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, but so what? I just said, sorry, you guys, my kid died this summer, and sometimes I cry. I mean,
I mean,
what
totally
else?
fair, right? Like,
Right.
sorry, this is life, right? Like this is,
Yeah. So what else can you say? That's that. So
yeah. God.
I don't know. I'm part of me, and I know that is really bugged that I'm not having more dreams about him. Like I personally believe that when you dream about the person, they're trying to reach you somehow.
Hmm.
Sometimes I know it's your own brain, like, making peace with things. But it's like, dude, you're gonna come visit me 2 times. I think really only one I really felt like was him visiting me. And then like other people like his brother and Avery, and like, oh, I dream about him all the time. It's like, I know, it's like, I don't know. There's nothing nobody can do about that. Like nobody can fix that.
Or
So
maybe he already feels like he's with you all day. Like maybe he's there.
it's tired of me. Well, it's kind of like really like, well, that's really, I do tell myself that. Well, of course he's going to reach out to Tyler and Avery. He was a man in his 20s, he's not going to, what do I have to talk to him about? Like poop and food, I mean, so he probably doesn't do either one of those things now. So what has he got to say? I do like to come in here and like joke with him.
Hmm.
I know that's weird. Like, when does that become weird? Talking to your child's urn in the room, like ever?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I guess it's when I don't know. I don't think it ever. I think I always will.
Like as long as he didn't like dress him up for Halloween or anything.
That's hilarious.
Uh,
So anyway, so therapy And I don't want to cancel it because my therapist is really cute.
Well, there's that. Well, and you know what? I think it's totally okay to say, this is where I'm at this week. This is like one of the things I've practiced doing if when I'm in situations, not even therapy related, but when I'm like learning something or stepping into something I haven't done, I used to not ask questions because I didn't know what to ask. And now I started saying, I don't know that I know enough to know what to ask. So, just to let them know, like, yeah, I have a lot of questions. I don't even know where to start because I don't know what the question should be in situation A, B, or C. And then sometimes they can say, well, here's the things that could come up or whatever. And so I think sometimes being able to say to your therapist, well, I don't know what to say this week because this is where I'm at. And I feel like we've said the same thing. They may ask you a couple of questions that spur on a conversation.
Right.
And it is keeping the door open because next week you might be ready to say, holy shit, I can't handle today right now. And
Right.
and if you go,
what's funny about it is that I don't see him writing notes when I'm talking, but he fucking remembers everything I say. So
yeah, he may make notes afterwards or
yeah, I mean he must, because it's just like, wow, he remembers people's names and stuff like that. I'm like, I've never talked to a man before that listened to what I said.
well, he's paid to do it.
Yeah. Well, shit, that's better than a hooker. No.
Could you imagine having therapists like out on the street, like, we'll talk for $50 an hour, or whatever.
Yeah. I'd be one of those ladies that if Dave was dead or something, I'd hire an escort just to listen to me talk and go out and eat with me, like I
Right.
would do that.
Yeah. Like,
Why
what do you
not?
want, late? What are you into?
Yeah.
Dinner and a movie?
Yeah. It makes me think of this cab driver that I have in that I had in Austin.
Uh-huh.
He says that a lot of the like older people like hire him and then like just take him to a movie.
Oh, really?
They pay for his time and stuff. And
Huh.
yeah,
They just want companionship.
yeah, they just want. He's like they just get tired of being in the whatever you call it, nursing home or not whatever.
That's cool that he
out of there.
do that.
So
Yeah, and I did just, speaking of travel, I booked my flight to Chicago for February.
exciting.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold.
I know. It's the last couple days of February, the first day of March. I come back the 1st of March. It's the very end of the month. So
Well, that's cool. That probably is exciting.
yeah.
I always like to make travel plans.
Yeah, it's it is. It's exciting. There's just a lot going on right now, so it's hard to get excited about some of the details. Because I've got things I'm figuring out right now. I'm figuring out the car. I'm figuring out, trying to get some more gigs on the calendar, like always, wrapping up this book. A couple of family weddings coming up. There's just a lot hanging out there. So it makes it, it's like, I hate when things get in the way of excitement. That's frustrating, where you're like, you have this thing that you should be able to look forward to and be like, this should be, I'm all in. And yet you can't even do it because you've got details to work out. But I am excited about it. So how was your Halloween?
I am noticing something about what you just said.
What's that?
Well, all those long years of Codependence Anonymous, I noticed that you said you've got to make all these things before you can go, and it's not you, it's you.
Yeah.
Like, I've got all these things that I've got. Just a way of distancing yourself.
Yeah. True. I do tend to do that. That is true.
That's okay. You can feel your anxiety or whatever you're feeling about that. I don't know what it is, but.
And that's something that has been nice going back to therapy, is there's a couple times where my therapist doesn't very often I don't feel like he calls me out a lot of times on things like, I saw you doing this, or I know that. But every
Right.
once in a while, he'll, in a very supportive way, say, like when he sees a pattern, he'll point out something like, I've noticed that you have a tendency to this, or this,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them is how I will disqualify good things quite a bit when it comes to myself. Like, oh yeah, this is successful, but there's this and this and this.
Right, right.
And
Yeah,
I've
you
tried to
do
be,
that. You need to, you're an awesome person. You do some awesome things and you need to like
well, thanks.
pat yourself on the back and crow about it a little bit. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I'm trying to catch myself when I notice it. And
Enjoy
that is one of the
them.
things that's beneficial with therapy, is that it can make you aware of your behaviors that can be getting in your way.
Right.
But yeah. But I'm curious, how was the Halloween for y'all?
Well,
Anything eventful?
put it this way. Somebody knocked on the door.
Okay.
The dogs, okay, Dave had made like a little barrier so that he could open the door. He had the baby gate up in a box and all this other stuff here. But then we didn't get any trick-or-treaters. So we all kind of got relaxed. And then someone knocked on the door. And the dogs went nuts. And Dave didn't wait till they were calmed down. And he opened the door. And Milo ran out. And, he likes to jump on people.
Yeah.
And Nipsey's barking like a, and Dave was the next day he was still like, oh, I can't believe, like,
oh no.
After that, let's just say we turned off the lights and we did not, luckily nobody came to the door after that. It was like, no, we're not for our dogs are.
Yeah, that's fair. Well,
how was yours?
Was fine. I
were dressed as Captain Stubing.
Yes, I was Captain Stubing for the night, and I went across the street to the Parkway like at 8 or 9. I waited a little while, and then I went over there like at 9, because I knew I would be over there a little bit later. A couple of the regulars that I visit with over there usually are there in the like the night crew,
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't want to go over there at 7 and then drink for 4 hours.
Right.
And I had not drank for several days because I had been finishing up my book, and I got done with everything I wanted to get done on it, and then I shelved it for a little bit, just probably for this week, because what I have to do next is doing some of the formatting stuff. So I'm like finished with the writing phase. It's going through the editing, sent off to editors to get edited. And while the editing is getting done, I can work on the formatting section. But I really needed to step away for it a little bit. So I was like, okay, I'll have a drink. So I had a drink Monday night, couple. But I met a guy, adorably handsome guy. We're gonna have beers on this next Monday. So I hope he's gay.
Yeah, I think you should start checking about that. I don't know.
I know. I need to get better about just saying, hey, you date dudes or what? But I'll ask him on Monday. So
I'm going to guess that most straight guys don't make appointments to drink beers with other straight guys.
I've had people say things like that to me before. Like there was this guy that was adorable that worked across the street, and he would come over and say hi. And Eli, my friend that I worked with, he goes, Andy, straight guys don't walk across the street to say hi to other straight guys. I'm just like, but then that didn't turn into anything. And then
there was that one guy that said he was straight or whatever, but then he wasn't really. Remember that guy?
Yes, there was that guy. So I don't know. I just know that my gaydar sucks. My judgment sucks on the whole situation. And so
maybe we should get you a shirt that says, I'm gay, are you?
My God, I don't want to look desperate. The problem is when I wear stuff like that, like when I am actually out there, then it's like the person that I
All
really
the
don't
weirdos
want hitting
Yeah.
on me is like,
Right.
oh, hey, I'm here. And I'm just like, no, I want the person that's not you.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
So, so we'll see. Because, guys are like, oh, we should have a beer sometime. Like, I can see guys saying that, which is kind of
Right.
how this conversation went. It's like, oh, we should have a beer, you know. I'm like, yeah, let's do it next Monday. So, so I don't know if it's gonna be a thing or not a thing or just a beard, but I mean a beer anyway. This is my life, but it's fine. It's whatever.
Well, I'll be interested to hear how that goes. Sounds like Dave and Andrew are home.
Yeah, so
Um,
it'll be a great conversation for next week. I'll have to make sure that they're gay and okay with their life being open to the public.
yeah, right. Well,
At least to a degree.
no, you don't, you just let it happen. We have that game that we never played. We need to get a couple comedians next week, maybe, to play that game with us about who sent which message. Been
Yeah.
sitting in my slides. So we need two funny comedians that know both of us that are available next Thursday at 4.
We'll find
To
some.
be able to do that and still make it to your boarding show or not.
Yeah, I can do that. Boarding's not that far away.
4 o'clock scrutiny. I'm going to write it on the calendar because, sometimes I forget.
Yeah. So cool. Well, that's all I got.
Okay. All right. So I'm on the hunt for a comedian for next week to play our game. And then the following week, I might do something fun too.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, have a good evening.
See y'all at our shows this week.
Bye.
Bye.